Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rocket League Social here, powered by Enghouse Interactive. I'm Connery Maddock. I'm joined by Ayuna Kankapati here for the final day of competition. We can't wait to get things going, Ayuna, and again, we've had a little bit of a format change.
Yeah, we saw the first day where each of the humans was playing against the AI, and yesterday they started teaming up, and today we've got a 4v4 human versus humans, and I'm very excited because, 4v4, it's the most crowded the pitch is going to get, and this time all of these guys are going to have to work together, so the third and final day, let's see how it goes.
And of course, fingers crossed, there won't be any influence of the AI in this particular game, because they have been pretty interesting from the last 2 days of competition, but it looks like for today at least, we'll have all human players on both sides here, and our format has changed in terms of the scoring as well, because the player that comes out on top on this one will be the highest points score over the course of the matches today. So you can gain points in iRacing not only for scoring goals, it gives you a huge amount of points for scoring goals, of course, but you can also get points from getting saves, from getting demos, things like that. So it's again another element that all of these players have to be concerned about.
Yeah, but, we go back to yesterday, and some of the players who were scoring the big goals, like Lorenzo, I mean, he was also, putting in some saves, putting the ball into the goal mouth, and, he was doing everything. So I'm expecting that some of the stronger players we've seen so far will continue to show just how good they are. And, 4v4, it does mean that there's going to be more opportunities to rotate around the pitch. And like you say, Connor, you can score more points than just being, around the goal mouth.
Yeah, and we have a couple of new competitors coming into this one compared to our previous 2 days as well. Of course, we have David, we have Will, we have Lorenzo, and we have James, all from previous days of competition, but we have some new names, shall we say. So we have Paul, we have Mark, we have Stefani, and we have Lawrence as well. We'll have to see how those match up to the in-game names they've decided to choose for themselves, but we might see a few surprises from those players.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how the new players come in. And to start with, it's going to be the RaceBot TV team versus the rest of the competitors. So we'll see how that one goes, because obviously, we were having a bit of a laugh about it before, Carter, but Will obviously not too impressed with his own performance yesterday. And I know he's hoping to have a slightly stronger showing. Maybe did a little bit of practice if he was able to find some time last night.
And of course, we also have Hugo Luis behind the cameras, who's actually a pretty avid Rocket League player himself. I'm surprised he hasn't just tried to pick up controller, just tried to join one of these games at this point. But of course, what we do here is on RaceSport is, of course, sim racing, esports racing games. But Rocket League, that's just it's cars, right? They're flying cars, they're playing football. How easy can it be? But before we head into our first match here, is the new format just going to really change the way that these players are going to approach the game now? Will they try to find the method that scores them the most points, which isn't necessarily scoring the most goals if they can't get those on target?
Yeah, I think it really just increases the value of teamwork here, and, the value of communication. A few of these guys are just taking a look, are in TeamSpeak right now, communicating with one another, so that's useful for them. And I think teamwork will be very important, because ultimately we saw some one-sided games yesterday, and you don't want to be on the end of those, because that doesn't really give you too many opportunities to secure some good points. So yeah, I think we're going to see some slightly different games. They're again 10 minutes long, so a lot of time to really just flesh things out.
Yeah, of course, the standard Rocket League game is, of course, 5 minutes, so we're doubling the length just like yesterday. In terms of that one, gives them a little bit more time to negotiate things out there, or, as we saw yesterday, time for one side to really rack up the goals.
Yeah, definitely, and we saw some one-sided games yesterday. I'm not necessarily expecting the same here today. I think it'll be a little bit more competitive when you get rid of those AI players, but in the situation, Connery, that one of our human players does have any technical issues or anything like that, the AI have been given a little bit of an intelligence upgrade, and hopefully they'll be a little bit more involved, maybe be a little bit more cognizant of the game situation, and hopefully we'll even see them going up onto the walls this time.
Yeah, maybe we'll see that, but of course that is there in reserve, of course, in case one of our players has to drop out for any reason. It allows the team that has had that dropout just not be at as much of a deficit as they otherwise would be.
Yeah, definitely, and you don't want to be necessarily having those AI teammates. You'd maybe rather have your human counterparts, but I think it'll be ultimately just up to how all of these teams are going to work together. And, we're going to be rotating the teams around. We've got 4 matches scheduled, and, each player is going to have the opportunity to play with everyone else, basically. So an opportunity to have some fun here on the final day of the Rocket League Social.
Yeah, and fun is what it's all about. Of course, there is... Well, for some players, I guess it's less about the fun and more about the competitiveness, because there are some people in this world that just want to win by any means possible. So there are some competitive minds out there, but I guess for us this is a little bit of fun here. Of course, this is the Rocket League Social powered by Enghouse Interactive. Thank you very much to those guys for bringing us along to this event. But I really can't wait to get going at this point. There are a couple of unknowns coming into this one with the format, with the new players as well, so how that will factor in is going to be an important point. And of course, for the players that we've seen already, like Lorenzo, like David, whether they can still step up to the plate for the 3rd day in a row.
Yeah, and we're just currently waiting for everyone to jump into the server right now. I'm just trying to take a look and see what's happening, as our producer is questioning the same thing right now as well. And, I think there have been a few players on our side, Connery, who have jumped in from that first day and, been playing every opportunity they can here. And we've also had Pluto Insanity, who's done the same. So excited to see James, because it's cool to have people who are enjoying this and just having some fun and, joining us in having the fun as well. It's great to be able to broadcast something slightly different than, sim racing. And I love Rocket League. It's the perfect combination between cars, rockets, and football. So it's great.
Yeah, and it's a great esport for the layperson as well. Someone who might not even be into gaming, let alone into your regular esports of League of Legends, Dota, Counter-Strike. Rocket League, it has that tangible connection to something in the real world, and that is football. And it looks like we are going here in the first match of day 3 of the Rocket League Social, powered by Enghouse Interactive. Of course, you have currently the players out there. I also see another AI or 2 out there, so it doesn't look like everyone has joined up to the server just yet, but a shot on goal from one of those AI has actually put the red team ahead early on.
Yeah, quick goal there, just 20 seconds in, and we'll see here, it's the AI getting involved, so that intelligence upgrade, able to start making some more plays, and David unable to get the goal covered in time.
Absolutely, so a goal with, well under a minute in at this point in this situation. Pluto Insanity up on the wall trying to grab that one. You can see Mr. Paul Smith, a fellow commentator here on RaceSpot TV, trying to get himself involved, but all he does achieve in that situation was punt Will Vincent out of the way, so not exactly ideal, but a little bit of crowding here towards the left-hand sideline as we see things at the moment. A lot of crowding indeed. Finally that ball pops out and it's in the favor of James, but can he drag it to the net? No. There's the clear there from Team Yellow.
Oh, and unfortunately, Paul Smith was trying to go for the clear. And we'll get a great replay of it here. Lorenzo just putting it back in towards the goal mouth. And he's going to come the touch from... Oh, actually, it's the AI. So, sorry, Paul. I miscredited you there.
Miscredited him with the own goal. I think you have to apologize at this point, But
yeah, no, I'm sorry, Paul. My mistake.
Coming up into a minute gone in this game. 2 goals, looking like 3 for Team Red. Nope, that's been blocked out. Wolfman's shot does not go the right way. Lorenzo, a nice little sink over the top there, and he'll try to grab this one off the wall. Just under it, though. Finds no success in that instance. Again, crowding around the sideline here. This is what 4 versus 4 sometimes turn into. A lot of crowding, a lot of cars in the same spot on the pitch, and it's not the ideal way to play.
No, definitely not. And just something interesting to note is the red team has got 2 of the stronger competitors we've seen over these 2 previous days. We've got Lorenzo and Pluto Insanity James working together, and on the other side it's Will and Paul alongside with David as well. So David obviously showed some promise, but Paul struggling a little bit here. He's unable to get the shot on goal.
Whoa!
Oh, the ball's just bouncing around dangerously and no one knocks it in.
Yeah, red team, they've got a get out of jail free card here. That was surely a goal for Team Yellow, but Yellow can just keep on piling on the pressure onto that red goal area. Can Red get themselves out of this situation? It's seemingly impossible for them at the moment. Lorenzo is there to be able to bail them out, though. He had a mega performance on day 2 with those defensive clears turned into an offense, but no one's there to support him with the cross.
Yeah, that's where he would have wanted to be working with Pluto Insanity just to knock it in, but Paul's coming around and just knocked down, and there's a demolition there. Lorenzo getting demoed by Will.
Yeah, Will actually getting rid of Lorenzo, and of course there's a quick chat with the keyboard signals like $, comma, that can denote expletives in the in the Rocket League chat, and that was what's coming out from Lorenzo there, so he wasn't too happy about that. Bit of a scrap inside the yellow box there, as yellow, they're on the front foot now. Let's see what they can do with this. They have gotten the opening of this game goalless for now, but can their fortunes change?
Yeah, and we're definitely seeing
dangerous.
a lot of crowding, and Paul with the goal.
Yeah, look, Paul got the last touch there. We'll see it right there. Just getting a tap on it to direct it towards the goal. The attempted clear from Blue and Santi. And that's actually Lorenzo that gets the final touch on the red team there. So the own goal is going to be his.
At the end of the day, the points are what matters, and Paul gets credited with the goal. And so we're 3 minutes down in this one, and the just starting to take shape now. It's starting to show.
Yeah, starting to pile on the pressure then is the yellow team once again. Let's see if they can draw things level. The defenses are there for Team Red, but the ball dribbles in. Cuddly Lobster David puts it in for them. And you can see just a slight tap, a win in the 50-50 against Lorenzo, and that's all that's required because no one was at a good enough angle for Red to launch that ball off the goal line.
Yeah, David's all the way in Australia, and over the last few days, he's been complaining about the fact that his ping is so high.
Yeah, he's always been, well, that's just the laws of physics working against him there for David. It's not the ideal situation, but when the servers are where they are and he's all the way in Australia, it's just something that he's going to have to deal with. But it hasn't really stopped him over the last 2 days of competition from getting a good couple of goals here. Paul Smith on the offensive, though, and, well, it was a good idea waiting for that ball to roll off the wall so we can just get a clearer shot. Speaking of clear shot, well, Australia or not, it doesn't matter because David's put another one past Team Red.
Yeah, we'll see on the replay here. He goes first with the demo. And just knocks it in as well. And very strong solo goal there. And Cuddly Lobster, he's just turning the wick up right now.
Yeah, it really is. So Team Yellow ahead here, still inside the first half of competition here in match number 1. Lorenzo up on the wall, able to get a touch on it. And if there was someone in the center there to capitalize on that one, then we could be talking about going level 3-3. But unfortunately not to be here for Team Red. And it looks like they have another opportunity here. Wolfman as the AI bringing it forward. But the yellow team have been bailed out of that situation. And Team Red once again have possession of the ball, pushing it forward. Viper is there, though, to be able to launch that one up. And he's going to go up for this one as well, but well blocked by Lorenzo.
Really is getting very clustered here. You talked about that being very common in the 4v4. All of these competitors is trying to go for the ball, and I think the important thing is they need to start spreading out, but there comes a dangerous ball in. Paul tries to go aerial, Will tries to go aerial, they both miss it.
They both missed the mark. Cuddly Lobster's able to get it back out there. But again, that was another situation where Team Red was basically secure in terms of the goal, but they just needed that one person to tap it across the line, and no one was there available. So again, this is a situation where Team Red could basically be 4-3 up at this stage instead of the 1 goal down that they are.
Yeah, and let's just remember, though, it's not just about that scoreline.
It's about the points here, Arjuna, as we have actually a couple of technical issues with Arjuna's connection/microphone there, so we'll just have to get that one fixed. But now the red team are able to get themselves clear away. The yellow trying to scramble back in defense, but no one able to carry the ball forward for Team Red, so it goes back into the favor of yellow. Paul struggling to control the ball here, actually taps one of his teammates out of the way, which is not exactly ideal, but David's here back in their own half to try and recover. He gets launched back by Team Red as they continue to try this offensive. A big cross into the center, hits the crossbar off of one of the yellow players there. Almost very close to an own goal, but somehow they've been able to keep it out, and they'll try to get this ball out of their half now, but it's been a big, big struggle.
Yeah, definitely been a big, big struggle, and we'll see what happens here. And hopefully these technical issues are resolved, because this is proving to be a very fun game here, Connery.
Yeah, it is proving to be that way 4 minutes left remaining in this one. Only one goal separates these two teams. Team Red back in position, back inside the yellow half. But can Pluto Insanity, can James put this in the middle for his team? The answer to that's going to be no. The pressure from Paul was a little bit too much, and Paul carrying it forwards. This comes off in an awkward angle for Team Red. They have to scramble.
Yeah, they have to scramble, and Paul with the demolition of one of the AI, so the red team a little bit short-handed now. But Red able to get the ball back towards the other end, and Lorenzo's going to try and center it here.
Yeah, and he does a good job of it as well, but James not quite there. Gets it away from Maverick as well. Here comes the shot from the other AI, though. Wolfman trying to put a shot on goal. Lorenzo is here now to try and control it. So they're all having attempts, but none of them successful.
Yeah, there were about 4 cars rolling end over end at that ball right there, just trying to knock it one way or the other, and they basically just all canceled each other out, and that seems to be a very recurring theme of this match so far. And once again, that's what happens. The ball's just getting knocked around, and all of these guys are getting a little bit confused, Connery, about where the ball's going.
Whoa, that's a bit of an awkward one, though. Paul Smith will be credited with the goal there. But we'll see exactly how that happened, because it rebounded at a bit of an awkward angle. You can see Paul winning out the 50-50 there. That's what we call it in Rocket League, when both players have gone for the ball at the exact time. It's a bit of a 50-50 chance about which way that ball's going to pop out. And in that instance, it popped out in the favor of Team Yellow.
Yeah, and so right now, Team Yellow, they're 4-2 up. Obviously, scoreline not that important, but we have James and Lorenzo on the red team, 2 of the stronger players. They're struggling a bit more right now with those 2 extra AI players on their team, Connery.
Yeah, as they continue to push forward here, but Paul has done a pretty good job in defense here. His shots haven't exactly been on target. The goals that he has been credited with are basically rebound ones. But here we go. Yellow on the offense again. This bounces back into their favor, but none of them can gather it up. And now this is a good opportunity for Team Red to be able to do something about this. But James didn't decide to go for the rebound shot. Instead, he just goes for the boost and retreats back. There's the demo from Will again. He's got Lorenzo again. So I think this is what Will's game plan is right now. He's just demoing Lorenzo time and time again.
Yeah, I think Will heard some of the comments that some of us were making yesterday, and he's out for revenge. He's not really focusing too much on the on-field action in terms of the ball. He's making sure that some of his competitors know what he thinks about them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Lorenzo was kind of trash-talking him yesterday, so I think this is kind of his revenge at this point. Maverick bringing things forward. There's the shot from Paul, but Maverick able to get the rebound, and the red team go within 1 goal in the late stages of this game. The AI working out in the favor of Team Red, as like you said, their intelligence has been increased for today.
Yeah, they've been a little bit smarter. We haven't seen them go up onto the wall like I was maybe hoping. They've definitely been a bit more involved, even though, Connery, these 4v4s, they're not intelligent enough to maybe set up some plays. They're definitely just crowding the ball a little too much for some of the other players.
Yeah, maybe, just maybe, as that's a big old clear from Team Yellow. Does that drop down just enough? No, it's just wide of the right-hand post. Paul able to get the demo onto Lorenzo. So Lorenzo's been demoed 3 times already this game. So I doubt he's having a great time. Paul Smith trying to bring this one forward, and well, Paul's doing a good job, like I said, in the defense and getting his team into positions where they can actually put on these sorts of offensive attacks. And I think that's really what Yellow have been doing to get into the lead of this game at the moment. But Lorenzo trying to bring it forward, trying to dribble around a couple of players, but he can't beat the final one.
Yeah, and going back to Paul, you talk about the fact that a lot of his goals have just been almost ricochets, but you miss all the shots you don't take. And, you know, right now he's putting himself in good positions, and he wasn't so confident coming into this one, Connery, but he's putting up a pretty good performance so far.
He really, really is. There's another demo. Lorenzo. Oh, well, that's a double demo there. So if there's 2 players charging at boost speed towards each other, they will demo each other. And that's exactly what has happened there with Paul and Lorenzo. But now, David up on the wall, able to get it down. This is very dangerous here for Team Red, but slightly wide. Cuddly Lobster's not able to make it work, but Team Yellow looking to try and make this convincing. If Team Red can keep this up in the air and put it in the other end, we will be going to overtime, but they've not got to let it touch the ground now. It does in the end. Cuddly Lobster has the MVP at the end of that one, so David is going to be able to secure maximum points from this game. 640, Paul 488. We have James on 142, Lorenzo 352. And, of course, we had a late joiner, Pavlo, there. Pavlova Stephanie. on 20 points at the end there. So I think they joined rather late into that one. But that was a pretty good first game and a pretty close one, all things considered as well.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at the scoreboard right now, and David with a good, strong performance. They're a 200-point lead, so good performance from him. And that's what we talk about. It's not just about scoring goals. He was contributing in all phases of play. He was making some saves. He was also putting the ball into the box, trying to play, put some opportunities for his teammates, and good, strong showing there. For James and Lorenzo, I think they were a little bit hamstrung by the AI teammates, and they'll be hoping for some better luck in the next 3 games.
Yeah, they'll be hoping for that as well. We are still yet to see the appearance of Mark or Lawrence, as they weren't in that game, which is why we had a couple of AIs in there instead. But hopefully for game 2, they'll be able to get joined up to the server and see what they can do here in match number 2. This is, of course, the Rocket League Social, powered by Enghouse Interactive. Thank you guys very much for putting on this event. But we are reporting that the next server is up, so it's only going to be a matter of time before we're straight into match 2.
Yeah, and one of the competitors is already in there. We're just waiting for them all to join in, and they're slowly just making their way in. And the fun thing is that now we're going to mix up the teams a little bit. So I think we're going to see a mixture of the race bot and the other competitors, which I think we were expecting to see in the second match rather than the first match. But we'll hopefully see them mixed up just a little bit more, Connery.
Yeah. Hopefully we will, as we are waiting to get ourselves into the server. But again, in that game, Lorenzo, he's got to be so frustrated because he was the target of all of the demos that the other team were throwing at him. So he was getting removed from the game time and time again for a couple of seconds apiece, and I think that was a deliberate strategy.
Yeah, Will really didn't put many points on the board because you don't get points for demo at the end of the day. You get points for doing other things. So Will was very fixated on Lorenzo. He made his point known. And yeah, Lorenzo, his momentum in that game was definitely stunted. And, he'll be hoping to just start building that up from the second game because he's already at quite a deficit to some of the guys out front.
Yeah, he is 26 points at the moment there for Will. Not the greatest, especially since everyone else is most of everyone else is in double digits. We got Stefani at the end of that game actually grabbing a measly 20 points, but because they basically had only 20 seconds of the game left when they joined, so it's not entirely surprising in that instance. But Lawrence and Mark, of course, on 0 since they didn't take part in this first game. But, there's still a lot of time to try and recover.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time, and hopefully we'll get to show you those scores on screen at some point. We'll get a graphic up in just a few moments, hopefully. And I think there's going to be a lot of intrigue now because you have people like David who've clearly shown they're very strong. And at some point, Connery, you have to think if these guys are getting truly competitive, if you're on the same team as David, do you stop trying to help him? Do you start maybe trying to hurt what he's doing? So I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen because it's not just... there's a lot of different ways to play this tournament.
Yeah, there is. This is Rocket League like you've never seen it before, I believe, is probably the phrase that we'll use in that instance. But of course, we have David in the lead in terms of the points at the moment here. We're just getting ourselves ready for the second game of today. We are expecting 4 games here for the final day of the Rocket League Social powered by Enghouse Interactive. And still all the places are for the taking at the moment because there's no guarantee that David will be just as good in this game as he was in the previous. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even someone like Paul, who, again, he was talking about not having played this at all in about, I think more than 9 months or so. So he didn't do any practice coming into it. So to put up, I think it was 488 points. There you go. You'll see the scores up on your screen right now as the game's just about to get started as well. So as you see the scores, just get ready to see the action. Yeah, absolutely. Our producer, Hugo Luis, whipping that up in record time because I don't think we actually had an asset like that. So he must have done that in the last 5 minutes or so. But Lorenzo here on the offensive early on of match number 2. The teams have been shaken up a little bit. Team Yellow going to be on the offensive here early on, but can Team Red get themselves out of this situation? And there we go, it dribbles in for Lorenzo. So Team Yellow gaining the early advantage here, and Lorenzo realizing that he needs to reduce the points deficit to the players ahead of him. Otherwise, he's going to be out of the running.
Yeah, and Lorenzo trying to make an early statement here. He had a little bit more difficulty in the last game, and he's going to have to continue that again because the red team as a whole, it's at a 4 human players. But Lorenzo, he's got David alongside him and then 2 AIs, so he's going to have a little bit more difficulty. I'm sure Will is going to be targeting him once again.
Yeah, so again, a bit of crowding here towards the sideline. That's pretty dangerous for Team Reds, and David's there with the backflip to put it in. So Team Yellow go up by 2 goals here in the early stages of Game 2. Great little bit of control there from David.
Yeah, and they're just trying to make some early points here because I think what's going to happen, guys, is at some point the momentum will start to slowly just shift as the red team just starts to work together a little bit more.
Yeah, there we go, as camped in the red corner just for a little bit. The yellow team's trying to apply the pressure. They're actually going for a bit of a boost steal here, but if James can bring this forward and send the pass back to his teammates, then there might be an opportunity here. Paul able to get one over the top of the yellow players, but again, not on target here, and it doesn't drop in the favor of any of his teammates. And Lorenzo trying to keep this one up now. Yellow, they have a good opportunity to try and threaten the red goal here, but it all goes wrong. And Cougar now up on the wall, as the AI sometimes are going up onto the wall. It's fine. As we get ourselves a little bit of a scrap here inside the red half. Paul pulling it high.
Yeah, and something to note is the red team are playing very aggressively and not really leaving anyone back in goal to protect from any counterattacks. And this is what's going to happen. Lorenzo's going to take advantage over the top, and he just knocks it in. No one to really try and even defend him there.
Yeah, just as you were talking about not having anyone back, there's a big example of it. Lorenzo able to abuse that fact and put his team 3 goals ahead here early on in match 2. Pick off in the favor of Team Red very slightly there, but no one immediately pressuring this until now. Will Vincent decides to drive under the ball, not making contact. Paul Smith is here, so both the RaceSport TV commentators not having the greatest of sequences there, but Paul has a big job trying to get this away from David here, but an unexpected touch there from David actually hinders him more than helps him.
Yeah, just kind of knocked it off balance, and then Pluto Insanity unable to really gather it up in time, but Paul still in towards that goal mouth, and they're still threatening here.
They are up high. Cougar under it, can't quite recover. James is there to pick it up. Can he get the center in? The answer's going to be no. David instead going all on his own towards the red goal, but a great save there from Stephanie. And now, oh, this is still so dangerous here for Team Red as they're trying to get this ball away, but somehow they've been able to do so and don't go any further goals behind here. They're able to turn it into a little bit of an offensive exploration, but again, it just results in nothing as Team Yellow continue to apply the pressure.
Yeah, the red team is really just pinned back in their own half right now. They're just unable to clear the ball, and they need that one opportunity just to give themselves a little bit of respite. And they're going to get it finally. They're trying to get it down towards the other end, and there it goes.
Yeah, here we go. This is a good opportunity for James. Cancel the inside. The yellow goal will be able to do anything about this, but the shot just does not come in just yet. Awkward bounce off the wall. Yellow are able to get it clear as they continue back on downfield then. This is a very high ball right towards the center. David is here to try and get the volley, but he finds no success. The defense has turned up here for Team Red. They struggled early on with letting in those 3 goals, but looks like they've gotten things together now as Will inside the goal, not able to get the clear away. James is, though, back to the red left-hand corner.
Yeah, they're doing a much better job of just rotating around each portion of the pitch. They're leaving someone in goal. Will seems to have taken that responsibility over now. They've had a few saves as well, which is good valuable points for some of their drivers, but there's the pressure again. Let's see what Will's going to be able to do. Successfully able to clear that back up the field.
There we go. Pretty simple as things go, as Team Red continue trying to get out of their own half. They have established a foothold here now towards the yellow side of the pitch, and the thing is, Yellow have been able to deal with this in quite comfortable fashion. Once they rotate their good players back, they're able to get it clear pretty quickly. Up onto the backboard, though, for Team Yellow. They're not able to capitalize on it just yet. Shots are attempting to come in, but none of them connecting with their targets, as that was Lorenzo attempting a shot towards the left-hand post. And Team Red, I mean, this defense is hectic, but it's holding for now.
Oh, that was so close, though. It just bounced wide, and the 2 AI guys on the yellow team, Connery, are really actually putting in some solid efforts here.
Yeah, I mean, you did say that it increased their difficulty here in this, so compared to the previous 2 days. So it's kind of expected that the AI will be a little bit smarter in terms of how they approach this game. Coming up to 5 minutes to go then in this one. Players still, well, the red players still yet to get off the mark in terms of the goals here. With 5 minutes gone, 5 minutes to go. They really need to make an impact and soon, because scoring goals is the most efficient way of getting your point score up. So they're just kind of relying on the saves at the moment. Here we go then, back in towards midfield as Team Red still on the offensive. Can they put it in? The yellow panicked defense, but somehow they're able to keep hold of it. And it was a big opportunity for Team Red to try and put that ball in the net for the first time this match. Again, a very dangerous drop in the middle of the box, but Lorenzo somehow able to get that away. And another attempt goes a-begging for Team Red as Yellow push forward on the counter-attack, but there's a bit of an altercation between two teammates there trying to chase the ball, but it looks like James has put it into his own net. Lorenzo will be credited with that one, but look at that, he was fighting with David to try and get the goal.
And that's what we're talking about, Connery, the value of the points, because both those teammates wanted the goal, and unfortunately for the red team, they just helped knock it into the back of the net.
Yep, it really did then. As Yellow, they extend their advantage. Decent shot from Cougar on goal, but not resulting in anything. Here comes David, then can he put it in? Not quite. He had a free attempt at it, but it's squandered. It's a tough angle from that shallow of an angle, shall we say, towards the left-hand post, so you can forgive him for making the error. But the AI seem reluctant in terms of carrying the ball there. They were just waiting for Paul's clearance to try and get back on it. And now, looks like, there we go, very dangerous ball results in a goal once again for Team Yellow.
And you'll see the replay here. Lorenzo's just going to set himself up. And David as well was trying to get there, but once again, Connery, we see both the yellow guys going for the ball, and this time, Lorenzo once again gets the goal.
Here we go. Oh, is it going to be a goal off the kickoff? Yes, it is. Lorenzo puts another one past Team Red. As I think there was someone from Team Red that was actually just stationary on the kickoff there. It was towards the left-hand side. Not that it mattered, though. Ball went towards the right. Both of those central players couldn't put anything on it.
Yeah, under post kickoff goal there for Lorenzo, and he just racked up some quick points. He's up to 800 in this match already. He's still got 3 minutes to go. The yellow team is looking very strong.
Yeah, another big clear from Lorenzo just above the crossbar, but it's done enough to put Team Yellow back into an attacking position. And Lorenzo, again, just diving in, but this time not hitting the target. Paul trying to dribble that ball forwards. He hasn't had the most ideal games here in this one, all things considered. But now, as the game continues on, Paul again now trying to get that ball out of his own half. He's done relatively well in that instance, but now James pushing forwards. I mean, rolling the ball across the corner is a pretty good idea, but David is there ready and waiting to keep that ball and keep that goal safe. As there's the demo coming through. David taking out James there, I believe, as Pavlo Stephanie here. I believe that is it's Stefani on our spreadsheet. But in this situation, though, you're going to be desperate for goals here for your Team Red.
Yeah, Team Red needs to get some points. What they don't want to be doing is putting the ball back towards their own goal mouth. And David's going to take advantage there with a very nicely taken goal. Here's a replay on screen. No opposition for him in that one. Once again, just controlling the trajectory of his car in the air. Paul trying to go for the mid-air save, but not in time.
Not in time at all. 7-0 here in match number 2. Lorenzo wins out the kickoff for Team Yellow, but instead of chasing it, he goes back for the boost, and then back into the action he goes. Pluto, Insanity, James up on the wall trying to get that ball clear. But again, it's just Team Yellow piling on the pressure, and another shot for Lorenzo goes in. What a mega performance this game.
Yeah, and it started off a little bit shaky for the red team. They were able to get themselves together, working well, and able to get the defense up, but the last few minutes, Connery, the yellow team has really just turned it up. Lorenzo specifically, he's been all over the pitch, gotten quite a few goals now.
Yeah, as 8-0 in this game. Not exactly the most ideal situation, is it? And it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to come back from here. As Paul Smith trying to get the possession of the ball once again. Blue and Sandy's done a very, very good job on the goal line there to make sure that the red goal is safe. But is it ever really safe in this game with the amount of goals that Team Yellow have been able to put in? And this time it goes the way of one of the AIs here.
Yeah, one of the AI is going to score a very opportunistic goal, and that intelligence upgrade, Connery, right place, right time, and the yellow team just getting some assists from the AI players in places where we didn't see that before.
Here we go, 9-0 now, as Billy Lobster, David here on the ball inside of the red half. And we've seen that so many times so far this game, but James dribbling forward is a great opportunity for Red to at least get one on the board, but it's not quite worked out there, has it? Yellow able to get back there in time, and now thanks to the commitment that Team Red made, there's going to be a free shot on goal here for Team Yellow, but not going to drop in the fashion that Lorenzo would have expected it.
Yeah, and we didn't see David get credited with the save there. He did get credited with an assist, a shot on goal, a very effective play from David. He was able to make the save and then all the way down to the other end, and there he goes with the goal as well.
10-0. This is the biggest scoreline that we've seen so far here on the Rocket League Social. Powered by Enghouse Interactive. David putting the ball in, and well, he's racking up some form of a score as well, but not as much as Lorenzo. As he's saying in the chat right now, is 15-0 still doable? So he's really got confidence, and why not? He's been the biggest performer so far this game, and that confidence is perhaps a bit justified.
Yeah, well, after how his first game played out and the amount of times that he had to just wait for his car to be reset, he's come in and had a strong performance. But at the same time, his teammate David, he's leading the points coming into this match, and an assist there. Oh, wonderful teamwork. Just David setting up Lorenzo perfectly.
Yeah, so Lorenzo, excuse me, puts another one in. A simple pass from his teammate at the end of things, right in the center of the box. So 11-0 now. Yeah, I think Team Red are thinking, well, let's just get on to match 3 at this point, because this game is very, very much done. And they haven't really been able to make any sort of progress whatsoever. 30 seconds left remaining, though, for Team Red to try and suffer through before we get to start the next game. That's another shot. Cougar, the AI, puts it in for Team Yellow. So 12-0. I mean, Lorenzo did ask if 15-0 was possible. They need to be swift about it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a little bit difficult, but maybe one more of these kickoff goals that we've seen Lorenzo try and attempt on a few occasions. He's got one today, and unfortunately not on that one, but still a little bit of a chance here. He's going to try and center it for David, but he misses the ball.
No, so yeah. Paul Smith trying to carry the ball forward. Paul's just trying to put in all the effort here for Team Red, and his goal's under threat once again. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Ball next to touch the ground. That will be the end of the game. And what a dominant performance from Team Yellow, as Lorenzo 7 goals in that game to put his team ahead. He gained 1,268 points. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that is a huge sum, but I'm just taking a look at the points right now. The delta between Lorenzo and David as a result of that game is much smaller than I expected. The gap now is only around 200 points, and we're just going to wait and try and get a graphic built up for you guys in just a few moments so you can see that as well. But it's right now, Connery, a 1 and 2. It's a 2-horse race between Lorenzo and David.
The battle that I'm very interested in, though, is not the battle at the very top, but the battle at the very bottom between Will and Stephanie. 10 points separate those two here in this instance. So, I mean, like in racing that we talk about, there's not only battles at the front of the field, there's battles at the very tail end as well that we need to sort out. Yeah,
and I mean, it's the same thing as racing as well. Everyone is competitive and no one wants to be last. And in that last game, I think both Stephanie and Will were not doing too terribly. It was just that the yellow team, but Lorenzo and David were working so well together, and, you know, the AI wasn't as cumbersome as we've seen in previous games in the past. And the AI got a few goals of their own, and definitely the yellow team was just clicking on all cylinders. And we're going to mix up the teams once again for this upcoming third game, and we'll see what happens.
And there was a little bit of a love-hate relationship between David and Lorenzo in that one, because they were sending passes to each other, but then there were some instances where they were trying to rob the goal from each other. So there's an interesting dynamic there, and you can see why, because when they're both on the same team like that, it's still a points game at the end of the day, individuals with the players. So why not try and steal a goal away from your closest competitor, right?
Yeah, and there's only 200 points now separating those two, so Lorenzo really putting up some really solid numbers in that second game, but David consistent through both the first two, and there you can see the points totals. It's actually only about 150 points separating them there, Connery, so there you can see just the amount of points that Lorenzo was able to put up on the board in the second game. It's really just propelled him out towards the front.
Yep, it really has, as we'll get those names swapped over. So it is Lorenzo ahead of David here in this instance. So James in third place there with 774 points. So he's doing rather well from himself, but he still needs to double his score to even get near David.
Yeah, we'll see how this is going to go, but definitely looking like we have a few just battles brewing. So Lorenzo and David, James and Paul, and then Will and Stephanie. So, there's some storyline to focus on no matter who you're supporting in this one, and potentially 2 more games to go, and we're just about to get ready.
Yep, we are. This is the Rocket League Social powered by Enghouse Interactive. Match number 3 is coming up right about now. You can see the players there ready and waiting. We'll get match number 3 started between these players now. Kickoff has been successful. Ball into the yellow half though for Team Red, and well, there was an attempted shot on goal early on. James was there to try and capitalize on the rebound. There's a shot coming in from Lorenzo as he returns to his goal-scoring ways.
Yeah, he picks off right where he left up, and here we'll see he just once again playing a little bit more defensive, just trying to rotate up towards the front, finds the opportunity, and no one there to stop him. 16 seconds in, and Lorenzo apparently already back to his winning ways.
Yeah, he is 10 seconds into the game. That's when the first goal has been scored. Although, James, we're watching with him right now. Lorenzo, he just took that away from James, in fact. So there needs to be a little bit more communication on that side, I think. But of course, due to the format, it's more of a solo effort, shall we say, in these, compared to a big old team effort, even though winning the game as a team does net you more points. So it's kind of a weird sort of situation there where you want to be concerned about your own point score, but you also kind of want to work with your teammates to win the game, because that also gets you more points.
Yeah, and the teams have been mixed up once again, so we now got Stephanie, Will, and David on the yellow side. They got one AI teammate as well, and on the red side, we got Paul Smith, James, and Lorenzo. So that's a fairly strong red team. And Cuddly Lobster on that yellow side, he's going to have some work to do because he's got the 2 lowest scoring human players on his team as well.
Yep, he has. Big attempt there from Team Yellow just above the crossbar. The demo onto David, though, is going to do a decent job. And actually, I think Stephanie gets won by one of the AI there. Not exactly ideal, but this is still going to drop in the favor of Team Red, as they're very much on the offensive. Paul trying to wrestle that ball away from the corner. James puts one in, just hits the crossbar of the yellow goal, and Yellow are able to get themselves clear here, all the way back down the other end. David was up for that. He was looking to try and carry that in. Again, hits the crossbar, this time of the opposite goal, as it gets sent all the way back downfield. Is this an open goal? No, Will Vincent's there, but he's put it into his own net. He was trying to catch that on his roof, but it ends in embarrassment.
Yeah, and just watch the replay here. He's just trying to knock it somewhere, and unfortunately, if you're not in the air, it becomes much more difficult to control the trajectory of the ball, and the random deflection just goes up into the own goal, and Will's gonna unfortunately get a goal just in the wrong direction.
That was red team in this instance. Again, win out the kickoff, but it's instantly responded there by Yellow as David's able to punt that back downfield. Lorenzo carrying the ball forward now for Team Red. Into the box they go. Good opportunity for Team Red, but there's a very good clear for Team Yellow, and it drops in the favor of David, but he's not able to get a nose on it. Is there anyone else trying to recover? Will Vincent scores!
Will Vincent scores. He scored at the other end, and oh, finally, it must feel so good for Will. He finally is going to get some kind of points on the board. There we go. You see him in the quick chat on the left-hand side. That's how happy he is.
Yes. We should clip that and just post it on the RaceSpot Facebook pages and things like that to see our CEO, who has been not quite as skillful as some of the other players at this game, able to score a goal. There we go. But now Yellow Team able to get at least one back here. They brought it to within a 1-goal margin once again here early on. So there we go. Will trying to carry the ball forward. Now that actually came off his roof. So again, putting up a good amount of effort in this game as Lorenzo trying to carry the ball down the sideline here, but will be stopped in his tracks as Stephanie and Will both trying to challenge the ball. That one comes out in Stephanie's favor, though. It gets punted all the way back to the other side.
Yeah, and Paul Smith was just trying to clear it, but David's going to just center it. It's going to require one of the AI cars on the red side to send it back to the other end, and all the yellow cars are committed now, so there's a mad scramble to get back down to the other end.
There is. This is going to drop awkwardly, though, for Team Yellow, as they basically all charged the ball, but the entirety of the red team missed, so it wasn't really necessary. But Will Vincent now attempting to try and carry that ball forward, but again, can't get anything on it. Lorenzo able to get away for Team Red, still carrying that ball back towards midfield. Now it's in James's possession. Great little pass there from Lorenzo, but David in goal can't be beaten.
Yeah, David rose to the challenge of the one-on-one there, and he's got it all the way back to the other end, and he sent a ball across the goal mouth, and once again on the yellow team, it just needed someone to knock it in.
Yeah, someone needed to be there. The positioning needed to happen as Rex, the AI on Team Yellow, carrying the ball forward, but it just gets launched back to the other end of the field. Both teams trying to attempt to chase this one. Lorenzo gets the ball in and across the mouth of goal. Paul was there to put it in, but not quite on the right trajectory.
Yeah, he was also just about half a second late on his timing of that run, just trying to burst forward into the box, and now it's going to be Will Vincent who tries to do it, but Lorenzo's going to meet him with a block.
Yeah, he is. And Team Yellow, again, they're having these slight opportunities. They've capitalized on one of them, but this is seemingly like a more even game than what we saw in the previous one, where the Lorenzo and David team were able to rack up a massive score. This one looking a little bit closer as we've separated those top two players. Lorenzo back downfield, a response there from the AI on Team Yellow. And this is very dangerous because two defenders have missed that on the yellow side, but James not able to capitalize.
Yeah, Rex the AI able to get a slight deflection. That's all you need at this type of speeds this game is played at. And once again, it's just bouncing around, and these guys are once again just getting a little bit congested again, Connery. They started off a little bit more open at the start of the game, and it's just gotten a little bit more hectic and demolition-y in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it has. Oh, this is a chance there for Team Yellow, and David puts it in for them. We're at an even score line now, as this was a bit of a misplay from Team Red. You can see all four players just attempting to do something about that, but they were a little bit too late to the punch, and David is able to put it in for Team Yellow to a 2-2 past the halfway point.
Yeah, you can see James was desperately just trying to get that one loose, and off the kickoff, though, it's going to rebound straight off into the red goal.
Well, into the yellow goal there, as that's Team Red scoring. As Storm, as the AI, the kickoff just worked out in his favor. So there we go. Not much more to say about that one, unfortunately, as Team Red now back in the lead thanks to a lookout on the kickoff.
And it's bouncing around dangerously again, and Lorenzo's going to knock it in this time. So 2 quick goals for the red team. It's 4-2.
It is Storm putting the ball in. Lorenzo's there as David. It was a bit of an awkward one for him to try and recover from. As soon as he missed that ball the first time, to try and spin back around and drag that across the face of goal. So difficult to do. As Lorenzo is saying in chat, why is one of the AIs have more points than anyone on the red team?
Yeah, we've turned up the intelligence. Some of the AI has really turned up the games here today, Connery. They've really just helped some of their human teams, and you know, other than when they get a little bit too congested, it's been very strong from them.
Yeah. Team Red back in possession here. The clearance coming through from Team Yellow. You see there's Rex back in the corner there. Can't send it back into his teammates, though. That would have been the natural position for a human player, but with an AI probably not considering that at that stage. Ball in, though. David is there potentially to do something with that, but it just doesn't roll out in his favor. But a little bit of a scrap inside the midfield gives Team Red a slight chance as they send it back into the yellow half. But can Lorenzo follow up on this? Can Paul do anything about it? The answer to that is no. Up onto the backboard it goes. Red team attempts coming through, but none of them on target.
And just remember, though, the scoreline is ultimately not the most important factor in this game. It's the individual. By about 30 points, so he's just extending that gap out, Connery.
Oh, the shot on goal from David, though. Straight into the net. As we'll get to see how that happened. It's sort of rolled in his favor. No one from the red team behind that one. It was only the AI that was vaguely near the goal. So a bit of a miscommunication there from Team Red. No one on that ball in a very, very dangerous position. And as a result, Team Yellow have been able to pull one back here. It's going to be a very, very close and tense game at the moment.
And as it stands, that gap between Lorenzo and David overall, it's just about 50 points. So, Connery, there's not much in this at all. That's just a goal or a save away from being equal up. And there's an opportunity. Whoa. And Cuddly Lobster gets it.
David puts it in. We're 4-4. In match number 3, a frantic sequence there as the red team players try to put it in. I think it rebounded off of one of the AI, I think. I think it was Storm that got in the way there and put it into his own net.
David's not going to complain. He's just taking the lead right now. And with 2 minutes to go, momentum's on his side. The yellow team is looking strong.
It is, but we're still at even Stevens, and if they continue like this until that clock ticks down to 0 and then that ball hits the floor, we will be going to overtime. If it's still level, still about 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from that point, though. Red's trying to apply the attack here. A little bit of confusion between those two Team Red players, though, with James charging in, not getting anything done. As this ball has spent a lot more time in the midfield than it has on the previous games, let me tell you that.
It has indeed, and something I've just noticed is Lorenzo is being a lot more direct right now in trying to make things happen. He's forcing himself into every phase of the game, and as a result, the red team is overexposed once again. And David, he scored 3 in a row without being answered. He's just extending the gap out front.
Yeah, he is, and he's also conscious of the fact that he's the one that needs to get these goals. Otherwise, Lorenzo's going to extend his points advantage. So David realizing he can't rely on Lorenzo anymore. He might even stop pulling passes to him just so he can carry the ball forward on his own and search for the goals on his of his own accord.
Yeah, and I think right now Lorenzo, he's just trying to force everything. His teammates are there. They're just, unfortunately for him, he just wants all the points. He's trying to force himself onto the ball at every opportunity he can, whereas David is making things happen. And once again, David put it into the box. Nothing happening, though. It's just bouncing around harmlessly.
Yeah, but it is. Oh, Will trying to get in there as well. As trying to challenge these Team Red players. He's actually found the jump button, so I think we can be thankful for that. Sorry, I'm just... It's not often you get to troll your boss, and I think this is one of the only opportunities I'll ever get to do it. But now, into the to the yellow box then. Team Red on the offensive, trying to pull this scoreline back, at least to even, and have a little shot at overtime. A big shot comes through from Lorenzo, but David's there for the save. There's the response, though, from the AI of Storm. Another shot coming in, this time from James, but it is blocked. Lorenzo, another attempt here. Storm puts it in again. This is relentless from Team Reds. They search for that goal to put it even.
And for every attempt the red team makes, guess who's the one who's there to stop it and just try and clear it, even for just a moment? It's David. He's just putting up one of the strongest performances we've seen in these 3 days so far.
Yeah, this is desperate stuff from Team Red. They have to get this ball back out of their own half, and they need to get control of it. Looks like that will happen. Paul up on the wall, brings it to the yellow corner. Will under this one, trying to make that ball a little bit more safe, but it's just a big old scramble for Team Yellow. They punt it all the way back downfield. Lorenzo is there to try and recover. There's been a bit of a commitment here from Team Yellow. They have to all get back. Here comes the cross into the box as Paul puts something on it, but not enough to get it in the goal. 10 seconds left remaining. Storm here as the AI trying to get it forward, but David is the savior of Team Yellow, as it looks like this will be going into their favor. The ball does drop, and David from Team Yellow comes out on top. What a mega performance there, as he'll score himself almost 1,000 points in that round, or almost 300 clear of Lorenzo there. That's going to really help him in the point standings here, and it might actually it does mean that he retakes the points lead.
Yeah, he's got the points lead back, and it's going to set up what's going to be a very intriguing final game here. We'll just get the graphics up on your screen in just a few moments, just building that behind the scenes, our producer Hugo Luis. But the gap just under 200 points, Connery. It's going to be a close one, and we don't even know what the teams are going to be in that fourth and final game.
Yep, we just don't know. That's the big thing here. It's much easier to rack up a scoreline if you're on the winning team. Let's just say that. Although, of course, Will and Stephanie on Team Yellow not really scoring all that much in the grand scheme of things at the end of that game, despite winning out the game. It was a big effort there from David on that side to come away with that. He basically took the entire team on his back and just charged forward.
Yeah, David was doing what Lorenzo did in that second game. He really just turned up the wick, and he really just was the star of the game. There's no other way to say it, and it really sets up an interesting final game of this 3-day series of Rocket League social matches that we've been able to broadcast. And I don't know about you, Connery, it's been so fun so far, and I can't wait for this last one.
Yeah, it has been incredibly fun. This is the Rocket League social final day, powered by Enghouse Interactive. We'll get our final match up in just a little bit, but it's still all to play for. There's less than 200 points between David and Lorenzo coming into this one, so a big old scrap for that top spot. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to challenge here unless there's a massive scoreline, a massive attempted scoreline plus 15 goals plus here we're talking for someone else to try and get back into things. So it is David versus Lorenzo for this final match in terms of the points, but again, it's going to be a big influence in terms of who's on their team. If they're on the same team, now that will get interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting one to see. We're just waiting for them all to get into the server, and if they're on the same team, I think we're going to see what we saw in that second game where they were both fighting over the same goals. There goes the graphic up on your screen right there. You can just see how the gaps have slowly built up right now, so it would take a really Herculean effort from James and almost a catastrophic performance from both David and Lorenzo to really equalize that gap.
Yeah, James would have to score about 1,450 points, just rounding it, to be able to come out on top, and that requires David scoring no points and Lorenzo scoring no points. So it would be a miracle for any other player than David or Lorenzo to come away with the win in this one. So we should really stop talking about it as a possibility unless some random force of nature happened and David and Lorenzo's internet goes down or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be the David and Lorenzo show for this final game, and we'll get to see what happens there. Of course, there's a bit of a fight for third place between James and Paul there, I believe it was, so that one maybe is worth keeping a track of as well.
Yeah, and we'll just remind you of the teams right here, because Lorenzo's going to be on Team Yellow. He's got Paul Smith and Stephanie alongside. David's going to be leading that red team, and unfortunately already it's a goal for Yellow, and Stephanie with the assist.
Yeah, decent points there for Stephanie, as it's the AI that puts it in. Great little touch there to put it over basically the entirety of the red team. So Yellow up 1 goal early. That's Rainmaker as the AI on Team Yellow. So putting them ahead for now, as again the kickoff goes in their favor. Paul right behind this one as he grabs the boost, but he decides to double back on himself, get back on the ball. If he can get it into the center for his team, that would be at least attempted assist points there for Paul, but wasn't able to get anything done here. And now that ball still bouncing around inside the red half though, so Red trying to get this one cleared. Not having too much success of it, though. Pluto's stuck under the ball here. Eventually chips it forward, but Paul is giving him hell in terms of the aggression.
Yeah, we're in that first minute of the game where just all of these teams are just figuring out how they work with each of their teammates right now. And for David and Lorenzo, this is important because they need to figure out how they're going to work with their teammates to get the most points on the board. Because obviously, if you're Lorenzo, you have a little bit of a points deficit to catch up.
Yep, you do. Lorenzo. Yeah, the thing is, David and Lorenzo, they are on opposite teams here. They're not on the same team. David, though, with a great little shot and puts it into the yellow net. He basically carried it forward all on his own. That seems to be his strategy this time around. Just gets underneath it, redirects it, and there we go. We're going to be 1-1 here at 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, simple two-touch goal there. One shot just to clear it out from the box. The second just to put it in towards the goal mouth. And there was a demolition there on the restart. And we're back to this action. I think it's interesting, though, because unfortunately, once again, Connery, all these guys, they're just getting congested in one area.
Yep, they are. Paul Smith just trying to do a bit of donuts, but Nicholas is rolling towards the red net. Somehow, they are able to get back in time. Some of those members did have boosts to be able to do that, but Team Yellow at the moment, you can see this is the player cam, so just briefly there, those were what the individual players had set as their own view of the game. Some of those FOVs, though, are very, very tight. Some of those field of views, which is not ideal. You want a bit of a wider field of view. Of course, it's preference. It's more of a personal preference sort of situation, but most of the people who are decent at Rocket League actually decide to widen out the field of view, as actually we may be seeing some server issues here. We're just about back in, and Pluto Insanity, James has put it in the goal.
Yeah, we'll get the replay here, and you can see it's going to be Pluto Insanity who, from his own half, is going to put it in. Just the one touch, just putting in a fairly decent clip, and hopefully those server issues do resolve. We continue to just have them on your screen right there.
Just a little bit of packet loss hurt no one. As down into the yellow half then, off the kickoff. Back towards the center. Paul Smith is here, unable to carry forward. David there in response as backup for Team Yellow. Puts it up high. Can he put it in, though? That's the question. The answer's going to be no from that angle. James is able to get it clear. Here comes David then, back on the counter-attack here for Team Red. And that's a decent shot and a decent goal once again for David. David carrying it forward. Great little chip up into the goal, as he is needing a big effort here in this one, because Lorenzo isn't too far behind him in terms of the points at the end of the previous game. So David needs the best performance that he could give here to try and keep that in his favor. He can't let Lorenzo get too close to him in points in this game, otherwise his lead is under threat. But now, as this game continues on, 7 minutes, 20 seconds left remaining. Still red team with the advantage, and an attempt on goal there from David once again, but not successful. Team Yellow, after that opening goal, they haven't really found much luck, but a long shot, a long attempt. Paul is there. He can't get anything on it, though. Just as I was saying, Team Yellow haven't had that many opportunities. They have a decent chance.
Yeah, very decent chance there. And David with another important save. So he continues to put up points even when he's back there in his own goal mouth. But unfortunately for Lorenzo, he's just getting a little bit stuck right now. We've still got 6 minutes and quite a bit of time to go, but he's going to have to try and just ramp up the intensity once again.
Back down the sideline. This is scary for Yellow, as Rainmaker is the AI in goal. Wasn't sure to make of that one. That was a big opportunity for Team Red, high in the center of the field now. James under it, can't get any sort of thing on it as he sends it back to his keeper. That's David. So, you know, the passbacks are a thing here in Rocket League. You can just pass it back to whoever's in goal and they're able to hoof it downfield, no problem. And that's exactly what has happened there. Of course, the roles are still fluid, though. There's no dedicated keeper in these sorts of games. You all have to know how to play which place on the pitch. You know, down the sidelines as a bit of a flanker, to be the sort of target man in the middle of the box, or to be the keeper or a defender. You need to know how to do everything.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen some people like David, who's been all over the pitch just doing it all. And
a little bit of a scramble here in the corner, though, on inside the red half. influence as he's able to get it away. James, if he can get a block here off of Lorenzo's clear, then it might give his team a little bit of a slight advantage as Paul, great little clearance all the way down the field. He might get the opportunity for the goal there. Yes, he will. And it's Stephanie that scores it as it gets a rebound off of those red players. We'll get to see it happen in real time. There's Paul's shot, blocked by a couple of players, but it's credited to Stephanie.
Paul will still get the assist, but Stephanie putting herself in the right place, and she's going to get a goal just like Will Connery, getting some rewards in a fun day of play so far.
Yeah, so 2 goals for Team Yellow in this game, and Lorenzo especially will be wanting a little bit more because he needs to have a mega half now if he's going to be able to challenge David's score, because David has put in a couple of goals for Team Red already. So Lorenzo's chances in this tournament are now under threat, but the positive thing for him is that Yellow are in the offensive here, at least for a couple of moments, but just gets sent all the way back downfield.
And worst is also David, who's putting it into the box, and he's going to get credited with the assist, with James knocking it into the back of the net.
Yeah, so James picking up a couple of points there, which would be important in his fight with Paul for the 3rd spot in the points. So that's a very, very positive move for him. 2-4, scoreline 4-2 in the favor of Red now. And another big kickoff. Doesn't really go out in anyone's favor here, but James has the ball. Can he get it off the wall? Well, the ball is off the wall, but he can't carry it himself off the wall. That's what sometimes you see in higher level games. The players are able to control the ball in the air with their car and sort of air dribble it instead of just dribbling it along the ground.
Yeah, and a few of the players there are also just, once again, just missing the ball, just trying to hit it in the air and just flying past it. The aerial control in this game is a very tricky thing to master, and we've seen some good plays with that little skill so far in these 3 days.
Oh, that's a very dangerous ball there. Yellow get away with murder. Oh my words, that was one of the biggest opportunities there for Team Red, and there was just no one there to capitalize on that ball bouncing right in front of the goal line. So Team Yellow are very, very lucky.
Yeah, very, very lucky indeed, but they're all just getting crowded around. That's what's creating these opportunities, just congestion.
Oh.
Paul's going to bring it all the way back to the other end, and undefended Connery, he just knocks it in.
Yeah, there was basically a quad commit there from Team Red, so it was an easy shot in the end for Paul, so he responds to James's goal down the other end, since that's the fight he's more concerned about here with being 3rd in the standings. So, battles going on everywhere, and this is what we see in esports racing as well.
Yeah, and you could see on the quick chat on the left-hand side just a moment ago, Lorenzo's getting a little bit frustrated right now. He's the only one who's not scoring, and he's cognizant of that fact.
Yeah, and, well, James is able to demo Paul there just to give the red team a man advantage for a couple of moments. Sideline, though, James. Will following right behind James there. Just there, ready and waiting in case James decides to mess up. But again, players crowding the ball here inside the midfield. Bit of confusion about which way this one's going to go. And ball up high. Stephanie is right under this one. Paul similarly so as well. Lorenzo up, trying to get his team to go forward, but his efforts are really all for naught at the moment.
Yeah, well, when you have 8 people all trying to hit the ball, all the efforts just kind of cancel out, and the ball's just moving around the field in a slow manner, just as all of the players just knock it around. And so far, not many plays being made right now.
Yeah, not many plays as Rainmaker gets the demo. That's the bot or the AI on the side of Team Yellow. It was a decent opportunity for Paul to put the ball in the net there, as Lorenzo able to get things away. I think he's sort of returned to a slightly more defensive playstyle here as Lorenzo, and it's not really working out, but that gets sent goalwards. It looks like it's going to drop in. Yes, it is. Paul gets credited with another kill. 2 in this game, and this time it's a long shot.
Yeah, and Paul's just trying to close up that battle with James for 3rd, and I think right now it's going well in his favor. 2 quick goals for him, and unfortunately, though, Lorenzo, his teammate, continues to be frustrated.
Yeah, the thing is, like, in this situation, if you're putting so much energy into being frustrated, then you're not putting the energy into actually trying to change things. That's the thing. You just gotta keep calm. You gotta not tilt. And it looks like the ball's gonna dribble in here for Team Red as Outlaw. Will Vincent will be able to get the touch at the end, so he gets credited with another goal.
Yeah, and he totally stole the goal off Outlaw here. You can see the goal's already about to happen. Will just knocks it in, just adds a little bit more haste to it, and he's going to grab a little bit of the points there just to try and equalize in his battle with Stephanie, who's, again, having a good game this one.
Yeah, exactly. So battles absolutely everywhere. Big shot, though. Top corner. Lorenzo finally puts it in. He was being so frustrated with his comments in the chat, but finally something goes his way with an exemplary shot.
And you could kind of see it as well. He goes off in that Brazilian celebration. He's running around the stadium. We've got 2 minutes now, and Lorenzo hopefully can start to pick up the action.
Oh, big kickoff. That came out at quite a speed there towards the yellow half, but fortunately for yellow, it was not on target after that little pinch inside of the center circle. The 5-5, a big attempt there from Team Yellow to get it going forward. Here's Paul underneath the ball. Can he get anything done? No, Outlaw touches it just to the side a little. As Yellow, they know what's at stake here. Lorenzo especially knows what's at stake, but there's David dribbling through the entire team, but the finish wasn't there.
Just knocks it a little bit wide and then instantly resets back to the other end of the field. At the same time, though, his teammates knock it in.
Yeah, Outlaw, the AI on the side of Team Red, has put it in, and there was no assist from human player there, so there's no points going the way of any of those human players. So, but it does put Team Red ahead, so that's worth its own little bit in terms of the point score here. But oh, look at that! Stephanie demos 2 Team Red players.
Oh, what a way to kick off that one. Instantly, the red team had a 2-man disadvantage.
Yeah, it's only for a couple of seconds though, so they can get back on the front foot here, can Team Red. But that was an interesting one at the kickoff there. You don't often see that. And it's into the box then for Team Red. Outlaw's there, ready and waiting. James gets the assist credit.
An Outlaw with his 2nd goal so far. You see James there with a very good assist, just putting into the ball. And the other AI, they're unable to block because, once again, all the human players committed to trying to get to the ball earlier.
Here we go then, 5-7 in the favor of Team Red. Team Yellow need 2 goals to bring it back level and a chance at overtime. They have to get out of their own half first, though. That's the biggest issue pressing for them at the moment. Looks like they're just about able to get away. Still pretty dangerous for them. Here comes David then up onto the backboard. 40 seconds left remaining. A shot on goal. What a save from Paul.
What an amazing save from Paul. How did that ball stay out of the box? I don't know, Connery.
Yellow still trying to push forward. 30 seconds left remaining in this game. The time dwindling down away as Red are able to turn tail and put pressure down the other end. And it looks like this game might end in their favor, but it's all about the points between Lorenzo and David. And I think David has the advantage in that one so far. Back down towards the red end then. Dangerous ball for Team Yellow. If there's anyone there, no. It goes back into the possession of Red. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Team Red have won this one. But a crucial goal at the end here might help Yellow and help Lorenzo, but it's not going to happen. David comes out with the MVP award, and we'll get to see the scores here as David 5-7-8 versus Lorenzo's 3-6-6. And I'm not sure if Lorenzo's able to hold on here. There we go. The scores are coming through, and it is David is going to be your champion. 3,001 points there as Lorenzo on 2-6-5-5 at the very end.
Yeah, so nothing actually changed in the order in that final game. So it was David who's going to take home first. It's going to be James coming home in third with Paul right behind him. And Will did edge out Stephanie. So nothing changing in the final game. But Connery, that was a pretty fun final game.
Yeah, that was incredibly fun indeed. Just have to get my posture correct here because I'm usually like this when I'm trying to commentate games. But yeah, absolutely. What a battle there between Lorenzo and David throughout the entirety of today. But it seemed like Lorenzo kind of just went missing in that final game. It was quite shocking, actually.
Yeah, that he had one game where he was just really on fire, and I think one of the strongest performances we've seen in 3 days of matches. But either side of that, just unable to really get what he needed. And David very consistent across, all 4 games today, and he gets the win. And I'm sure he's going to be happy. And he's in Australia, so it must be a little bit late for him. And I'm sure he'll be able to celebrate with an alcoholic beverage of his choice.
I was going to say maybe non-alcoholic, but knowing Australians, it's probably alcoholic. But David, 3,001 points. You get confirmation of that here at the end of the Rocket League social powered by Enghouse Interactive. 3,001 points to David, 2,655 to Lorenzo. James putting up a respectable 3rd place there with 1,532. Paul in 4th, 1,272. Will, second to last there with 404 points, 404. He wasn't found anywhere on the pitch. That's a technical joke for those IT guys. As Stephanie in the final position there on 326, despite all her best efforts in that previous game. With the goals, it's just not quite enough.
Yeah, not quite enough, but you can see there she got better as the games went on, and in that final game, definitely put in a good performance. And at the same time, we look at Will. He struggled, in 3 days of competition, and it took him until the final 2 matches of 3 days to be able to really get some good points on the board. So I think good fun, and I think everybody who's competed has really just kind of, from when we've talked to them, Connery, had a lot of fun with this. And it's been great that, Enghouse has invited us to be able to do something like this.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant that they've put on this particular competition. It's a bit of fun here. There are no professional players, there are no semi-professional players. They're all just people jumping into the game and having a little bit of fun, which is what we like here. Despite the competitiveness of it, the competitiveness of Lorenzo and David and everyone else, it's at the end. Well, in this one, points don't quite mean prizes, but it's the friendships along the way that we make, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sure David's not going to let Lorenzo forget about this anytime soon. I'm sure there'll be some friendly banter in the RaceBot TV comms booth, and there you can see confirmation champion David Haynes, RaceBot TV's own, and maybe we'll get an opportunity to talk to him in just a few moments.
Yeah, maybe we will. We'll have to see about the post-match interviews, but considering how they went last time, I'm not sure if I'm overly enthusiastic about what maybe is to come, but okay, we do have Will here inside the commentary booth. Will, you had a bit of a better time today.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank you for the little joke that you made about 404, me not being on the pitch. It's a technology conference. It's good to have a little bit of banter on that one. But yeah, I think I can confirm that I'm not going to be a part of any Rocket League team anytime soon. At least I'm not the worst in the family.
Oh, there we go.
The challenge has been laid down in the Vincent household.
It has, yes. I will say, though, it's been great the last couple of days. And even though I still have no idea what I'm doing on Rocket League, it has been incredibly fun to have a couple of hours actually out each day to, just mess around and have some fun. And actually, these are what these social events are all about. If we were to be doing this on iRacing, which is what we do on a day-to-day basis, then it would actually be really difficult to get people to actually play it for the first time, race, and actually have fun doing so. Rocket League is absolutely great for just pick it up, have a bit of fun for an hour, and, have some fun with some friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's one topic that we discussed throughout the days, I should say, that Rocket League is probably the easiest esports for regular non-gamers to access. Is that an assessment that you feel is also accurate, Will?
Yeah, I completely agree. And of course, there are other games like FIFA, which we did actually consider for this, which you could play. But the thing is, FIFA has got quite a lot of, tactics. Rocket League allegedly does have tactics, as we saw from Lorenzo and David in particular. But, Rocket League is one of these things you can just pick up, as I say, have some fun. You don't really need to know too much. And, if it was a group of 10 people who's never played Rocket League before, I'm actually sure in some ways it to be even more entertaining.
Yeah, I think so as well. Rocket League, one of those games where it's the skill floor is accessible, but the skill ceiling is so sky high, because I'm not sure if they're like, I know Iona, I know maybe Will and Hugo and David and all that have watched the actual professional World Championship competitions, and I'm like, my mind is blown by those guys, but it's that most of the players can only just aspire to be that good. Most players are actually about as good as what we saw today.
I presume that was for me. Yes, it is. I am still here, I promise. But yeah, you're completely right. And by the way, whilst I have the opportunity, I know I'll say something at the end. I want to say thank you to the entire team at Enghouse Interactive for allowing us into their conference home the past few days. I know we did have some technical issues at the start of Monday. We got that fixed, but I'm sure everyone who has been a part of the conference, we hope that we've made your afternoon just a little bit more fun.
Yeah, we hope so too, as the voices behind everything. As we do have a couple of the rest of the players inside the commentary booth here. We'll start off with our champion, Mr. David Haynes. Comes out on top after day 3 of competition, as it seemed like you really sealed the deal in that final match.
Yeah, full credit to the boys. You just had to get in there, have a dig, get behind it, back yourself. Just really maximize every opportunity and get the points on the board for the team. So I'm thrilled for everyone, especially me though.
There's a very football player style answer there. I think it's just like, at the end of the day, we came home with the win. It's just like, but what was it about that third game though that really meant that you were able to step up to the plate and get one over Lorenzo?
I think I like James's play style, honestly. I think there must have been 2 matches I was on the same team with him. He's reads the game well, even if maybe he was like missing the ball in the air or not super technical or skill based, but he was moving the ball around, really helping me out. So I felt like we worked together well in the final match there, which helped me get some points, helped that team win in that match. And I'm just looking at the numbers here, and I just stayed consistent. Everyone's just like crowding around the ball in all the matches, so you like come back, take a breath, make sure you pick up some boost, because that was a real challenge with 8 people on the field, is just how quick the boosts were getting grabbed. So you step back, you come in with some pace on, you clear the ball out, and just try and keep it moving, which is difficult. Super contested 4 versus 4.
And maybe we can get a couple of words with Lorenzo here as well. As Lorenzo, you knew you had a task to do in that final match, but it didn't quite come up roses.
Yeah, it's a problematic thing. The supporters were going ecstatic, and they actually had a little bit of a protest in our headquarters. They said if I didn't get the score, I probably would get annihilated. Unfortunately for the crowd, I didn't get the 3 points and the victory and the trophy, but I apologize for that. But it was complicated. I kind of said, all right, I have a sorry, I had a dream. But the problem is when everybody from my team goes after the ball, literally everybody went after the ball, I kind of had to hang back and play defensive. So that's why I couldn't get more active offensively and get more scores. So when the score actually was more widened by the beginning of the game, and we try to get back, we kind of knew we were going to lose because Paul had to carry us all the way up. But it was fun regardless. Getting runner-up always a good opportunity. I'll give props to David, because that might be the first time football has been relevant in Australia. So they gotta get their moment.
All right, okay. We'll move swiftly on, because we are actually very quickly running out of time. In fact, we're quite a bit over. Let's just say that. But Paul, very quickly, since you came into this third day of competition, very green, very fresh, how was it for you?
Only worry about the big things. If you can overlook the small issues of life and concentrate on the important ones, you'll be much closer to calm. Those are words that I like to live to, and today was no exception. That was absolutely sensational. I had a lot of fun, and you know what? Yeah, I haven't played for about 9 months, but I don't care, because that was really good.
Absolutely awesome. But we are soon going to wrap up. Is there anything else you want to say, Iona, to sum things up?
No, I've had so much fun the last 3 days. Thank you to Enghouse Interactive for helping us to put this on, allowing us to put this on. And thank you for everyone who's competed, both from the RaceBot team and the competitors. I just had so much fun, Connery, and I'm just hoping we get to do more Rocket League in the future.
Yeah, I hope so too. I've been Connery Maddock. That's been Iona Kankapati. Thanks very much to all of our competitors. Thanks to Enghouse Interactive for putting on this event across the 3 days as well. Enjoy the rest of your conference.
And thank you very much there to Connery and to Arena. And that is it for us after 3 days worth of mid-post conference fun here as a part of the Enghouse Interactive. There is one more event we'd like to feature for you, which is taking place at 7 p.m. BST tonight. That will be how to build a future-proof Microsoft Teams contact center. That will be with John Craig, so you can save your seat from that one now. And again, on behalf of the entire RaceBot TV and RaceBot Live Events organization, we'd like to say a big thank you to the team over at Enghouse for allowing them to allow us into the virtual home as a part of this conference. We've been trying out some new things. We're so glad that you've had some fun. And with that, we're going to say goodnight.